Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. Okay, so the band news kind of saga is not done yet, and this one's pretty big. I mean, nowhere near as big as the band itself, and maybe not as surprising. I mean, definitely not as surprising, but let's jump into it. So, Josh Lee Kwai of the Command Zone, also part of the Commander Advisory Group, the CAG, has just released this on Twitter not too long ago, a statement regarding my resignation from the Commander Advisory Group. Effective immediately, I am resigning from the Commander Advisory Group. I feel privileged for this opportunity, the opportunity I've had to provide input to the decision makers of the format, and I hope that I was able to help in some small way to cultivate and guide Commander through the difficult challenges it has faced during this period of rapid growth and popularity. I appreciate the Rules Committee and Sheldon Menery in particular for asking me to serve starting back in January of 2019. I wish nothing but the best to the remaining CAG and RC members. Actually, and then sincerely, Josh Lee Kwai. So yeah, this came out recently, and yeah, it's a decision that, again, is surprising, but also not surprising at the exact same time, with just the way that all of this went down. Because, I mean, it's a decision that Josh Lee Kwai obviously disagreed with when it came to the actual bannings. And we'll talk about in the past, like, what other decisions Josh might have disagreed with, essentially, when it comes to bannings overall. But yeah, it's something that has ramifications. It's something that might have ramifications where other Commander Advisory Group members, I wouldn't be surprised at some point, that might leave, maybe even a member of the RC potentially at some point. It's just, it's a weird time right now for Magic. And again, like the part here, again, I appreciate the Rules Committee and Sheldon Menery in particular for asking me to serve starting back in January of 2019. Way back in 2019 was a very different time for Commander and for Magic in general. Just thinking back to, like, everything that was different back then. I mean, did we even have secret layers back then? I'm not sure if we did, but when it comes to, like, the big changes of Commander and what's kind of happened with this format, a lot has changed since then. And yeah, a lot of credit goes to the Rules Committee and the Commander Advisory Group for, you know, seeing Commander through all the changes and making some massive changes themselves when it comes to the rules. I mean, like the Commander Death Rule, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, a couple of bans have been happening during that time, and you can kind of see just like where Josh stood on those. And yeah, we're gonna go back in time just to see kind of what might have caused this. I mean, it's pretty obvious as to what caused this, but what other decisions maybe Josh disagreed with in the past. Let's get going. And yeah, yesterday I did share the post from the Commander Rules Committee, where they clarified their stanchion approach with an FAQ, a frequently asked questions document that you can check out just by looking at their Twitter and then clicking on the link there. But one of the points that I did highlight and that I did talk about, I mean, I talked about all of them, but number 10, why wasn't the CAG told about the bans or consulted? The Commander Advisory Group has been involved in numerous conversations about format speed over the past few years and have shared their opinions with us. They were not informed of the choice to ban these cards because we felt we had the information we needed from them and elsewhere. And as a large group, it would be difficult to keep it under wraps. As above, we felt making sure there were no leaks was paramount. Now, yeah, I mean, that is something that, again, I believe is understandable, that the closer of a circle that you keep with this information, the better in some ways, but also the worse in some ways when it comes to, I mean, people feeling the burn of not being included in, like, their decision, like, their opinion doesn't matter potentially in it. I mean, although the Rules Committee did say, you know, like, we kind of knew what they wanted with this. We had the information we needed from them and elsewhere on the decision, so I definitely understand that. But I also get, if you're a member of the Commander Advisory Group like Josh was, and not being consulted on this major decision, again, to ban giant cards in the format. Okay, I mean, Dockside and Mana Crypt are kind of on a different level, in my opinion, than Jeweled Lotus. Jeweled Lotus is still a big card, obviously, and Nadu is more new, but still, like, giant cards that have been part of the format for a long time, like Mana Crypt, huge card in the format. Then Dockside, it's been a massive card in Commander ever since it came out, essentially. Jewel Lotus, obviously big in, certain aspects of Commander as well when it comes to more powerful decks, more powerful, as in, CEDH. In a term I learned yesterday, TEDH, Tournament EDH, there you go. But yes, the not being consulted, again, can be good to keep the information close so that nothing leaks out. In the past, there were, some accusations with it comes to, I think, Painter Servant. Was that the one? Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on that one. But there were some weird kind of market trends that happened with Painter Servant before a, unbanning announcement, I believe. And so because of that, I'm sure the rules committee is hesitant to kind of spread that information any wider than just the inner circle of the rules committee, because they don't want any accusations like that. So yeah, I think that's completely fair. So it's kind of fair on both ends for the rules committee to be we don't want to spread this information too far, and the commander advisory group members to be whoa, this came out of nowhere. Why weren't we consulted on this? So it's kind of a trust thing, but it's interesting. And again, I do want to highlight again, this is absolutely ridiculous that this needs to be said, but disagreement and good faith discussions are welcome. Threats of violence, including people supporting those threats, is beyond the pale. They have no place in Commander. I 100% agree with that. Everyone, my goodness, no threats or harassment online. That's never, ever, ever, ever something that's tolerated, never something that's okay. Constructive criticism, absolutely is something that you can, do with your voice online. But please, again, threats of any kind directed at any one of the CAG members, moderators, or RSC are not only counterproductive, they were dealt with immediately through legal channels. Yeah, that should be the case. Do not threaten anyone online. Do not harass anyone online. Do not badger anyone online, ever. Okay? All right, moving on. Let's just jump into Josh's, basically kind of history when it comes to bannings, because it is going to be pretty apparent as to where Josh landed on the side of this. Obviously Josh was against the bannings. But yeah, I advised that they not ban Iona. They banned it. I advised not ban Paradox Engine. They banned it. Look, if you want to stop watching our content, stop watching it. But if posting is a threat, that's ridiculous it gets. Again, please, no one should ever be threatening anyone ever when it comes to this kind of stuff or anything really online or anywhere. But yeah, basically, again, advise against Iona ban. I 100% agree with that one. At the time, I didn't agree with the Paradox Engine one. But yeah, basically, I agreed with Josh when it comes to Iona. Iona should not have been banned. But, Josh has been very consistent over the years of, basically, players should play with their cards. We shouldn't be banning anything, essentially. You should have those discussions ahead of time. I don't necessarily agree with every single aspect of that. There are definitely bans that I do agree with, including the majority of this one, basically. That being said, Josh has been very, very, consistent with the opinion. And yet even Josh is getting criticism from people out there because Josh was related to Commander Advisor Group, or part of the Commander Advisor Group related to the RC's decision. Josh is getting people reaching out being why did you help ban this card? And people don't understand maybe that Josh has been against basically all the bannings. So again, people just calm down online and just leave people alone when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's just ridiculous. Again, constructive criticism welcome, but also be a little educated on, again, if you are going to criticize someone, understand what their position is, okay? And constructively do it. All right, I agree it's super weird to me to ban a card after it's been legal for a decade when nothing else changed, but they're banning it because of unbanning Painter Servant. That feels equally ridiculous. It's a post back from when Iona was banned, and I 100% agree with that sentiment. Again, Iona was banned miscellaneously, it seemed and the reasoning was well, we're unbanning Painter Servant. So, okay, that's a 2-card combo that Iona costs 9 mana or whatever it is. So, yeah, that's weird. There are other 2-card combos out there that are much more ridiculous. So yeah, again, Josh has been very consistent so far when it comes to what cards should be banned, and it's basically none compared to many players out there who might think other things should be banned. Feels like you don't actually listen to our stuff because I'm constantly saying how I don't think anything should be banned. Yeah, Josh has been very consistent in saying that. Okay, well, I held in for 24 hours. There's another one back. I hate the Golos ban, y'all. Makes 0 sense to me. This is probably the singular decision that I disagree with the most from the last 5 years. As a Golos player, yeah, thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. I also kind of, definitely more at the time, thought the Golos ban was ridiculous. I can understand why people can be upset with the card, but also, the rules committee's decision to ban it was hey, we don't think players should play 5-color good stuff with this really good commander. So, yeah, that's kind of what their decision was. There are more powerful commanders out there, but yes, it is, again, a decision that I disagreed with, and, yeah, again, Josh is one to share the opinion when it comes to like agreeing or disagreeing on a ban. And again, community members should understand where Josh stands on basically all these, which is like not banning anything. When it comes to Hull Breacher, even for the record, I was against the Hull Breacher ban at this time, but I didn't feel strongly either way. Want to see the community would self-select it out in the next few months, similar to the other miserable cards. But I hate the design, so I'm not sad about it going away now. So again, Josh does say that, he does obviously have an opinion on, like kind of the intricacies of the cards, not just like every card should not be banned for no reason. So again, like it is interesting to see that Josh, like, again, does go in more in depth with the opinion too on like, okay, I was against this ban. I'm not really strong either way on it, but like, again, like being able to, self-reflect and say like, hey, like the community could, self-select this out in the next few months and say like, I don't like the design anyways, but I'm still against the ban. So even if Josh didn't like the design, still being against the ban. The only exception to this is like Lutri, which is just a different animal completely. And players out there that are against the Lutri ban, I don't know if you understand completely exactly why Lutri was banned, I guess. Important, the RCS stated that Lutri will be banned in Commander. As a Commander Advisory Group member, I never thought I'd be in favor of banning a card before release, but the way Companion works, 101st card, no downside, I do feel it's the right call. So yeah, again, like this is like literally the only card I've ever seen Josh be like, yeah, that should have been banned. And again, Lutri is a completely different animal because it's just, well, it's an otter. No. But because, again, Lutri was just a free 101st card for Izzet decks. That's basically it. It's just literally like, hey, if you play Izzet, or anything that has Izzet, then there you go. You get Lutri as a 101st card. If you don't have Izzet colors, you don't get a free 101st card. That's basically the only kind of a card that Josh has ever been okay with banning. So again, like when it comes to actual bans, like again, Commander is a format that's just very, very interesting with the ban discussion because it's a format where we have like 90 cards banned out of a pool of over 20,000 cards. And again, like cards can have a massive impact, obviously when they are banned. Like I understand the financial ramifications. I understand like all these other ramifications. But again, like people out there should not be reaching out and badgering or harassing people online because of a decision that they made or didn't make. Again, like if you're going to reach out to someone with constructive criticism, even make sure that you are reaching out with knowledge. Like just do not just blatantly, or just blindly go and say like, oh, like anyone who's involved with a Commander Advisory Group or Rules Committee, is wrong on this one. The Commander Advisory Group wasn't even consulted specifically on like banning this. Like, yes, in the past, like their opinions on fast mana were made. I'm sure their opinions on Dockside specifically were made. But like, again, like you some people online are actually like reaching out to, and I don't blame Josh for, again, like resigning, like not just for obviously like, again, like not being consulted on this essentially and just kind of feeling left out with it, but also like, yeah, Josh and the people in the Commander Advisory Group and the Rules Committee do not understand harassment, or do not deserve any kind of harassment online for this or anything else. Like, again, constructive criticism, welcome, but educated constructive criticism. Like, Josh was not a part of this decision. Neither was the rest of the Commander Advisory Group. It's ridiculous. So it's going to be interesting to see in the future, again, what kind of bannings might happen. I do feel like the Rules Committee, I mean, like, it's going to be tough for them not to be a bit more hesitant to ban things to this level, or maybe it kind of is more of like they need to be a little more consistent when it comes to banning things throughout time, because there was a 3-year gap with things, and Dockside probably should have been banned before then, and Nadu maybe, but like, and so like when you have like a big splash banning it just causes kind of a stir like this. But yeah, I don't blame anyone from the Commander Advisory Group or the Rules Committee like not wanting to be online for a long time, because people are just being ridiculous about this. Like, do not reach out to and harass people. It's very simple. Do not do that. And it's going to be interesting, though, to also see, again, like what ramifications this does have with the rest of the Commander Advisory Group, because, again, like let's go back down to number 10. Like, they were not consulted on this. So, again, although I don't disagree necessarily with them not being consulted, because again, of things that might have happened in the past where, like, you want to keep that tight, you want to keep the information in that tight circle, essentially. You don't want any leaks coming out, essentially, and you want to just keep it so that the community has faith that the Rules Committee is making this decision on their own, and that they're not, financially profiting off it, or no one else is, like, basically, the painter servant, like, numbers going up or whatever that was, that I completely believe that the Rules Committee, the Commander Advisory Group, like, had nothing to do with that, obviously. But like, when it comes to people online, like, speculating those kind of things, like, I don't blame them for being like, okay, like, it's more reasonable you know, for us to just keep it within this small group so that players out there will trust that we're making these decisions and not being motivated by outside factors like that. Like, yeah, like, I don't blame them for not spreading the word out there to the Commander Advisory Group, but also, like, if you're in the Commander Advisory Group, like, in a way, kind of like, what's the point, like, of you being there? Like, if you're not going to be consulted for, like, the actual big things that really matter. Not that the other things don't matter, but, like, when it comes to a giant band like this, like, most of them, I'm assuming, would probably want to be advising with this. That's kind of like the role. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised necessarily if other Commander Advisory Group members left at some point, potentially. I couldn't blame them, again, for leaving at some point if you're getting badgered online. Like, it's ridiculous. So, everyone out there, just overall, number one, calm down. Do not harass anyone online. Do not threaten anyone online, my goodness. And, again, if you have constructive criticism, great. Give it with an educated, you know, stance, though. Do not just blatantly think that, again, like, Josh Lee Kwai is for all these bannings. Josh Lee Kwai helped get all these cards banned when Josh has been against bans this entire time. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's a very frustrating. I know it's a frustrating circumstance for many, like, but it's a very frustrating thing that people react in these kinds of ways. When, again, it is a game. It is for fun. It is not a financial investment. It's a game. Just please, just like literally take a step back and realize this is a game. Okay. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. I wish the rules committee, I wish the Commander Advisory Group the best. I just, like, again, it's a tough time for a lot of people out there right now, and people just need to please calm down. Again, threats are never okay online, and yeah, we'll see kind of what else happens when it comes to this. Again, if there's any other, you know, I'm not saying that anyone from the Commander Advisory Group should be leaving or are going to be leaving, but, like, I wouldn't be surprised if anyone else does leave based on just the way that all of this happened, essentially. So, yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on all this. And, of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And, of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support.